of decision making with our guest who is PhD in biotechnology, whom you have listened to in one of the episode entitled Why and Challenges of Research of this podcast. Let's welcome Dr. Kamya Tiku. Hello, doctor. How are you?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am.
Do tell us that where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Vadodara, Gujarat, ma'am.
Okay. So, doctor, it's an honor to have you again on our podcast, Scholars Knowledge to Wisdom.
Thank
Um,
you, ma'am.
yeah. It is estimated that average adult that makes about 35,000 remotely conscious decisions each day. So, doctor, what is your
Ma'am, decision making is basically when you know, you gather information. Actually, basically, you understand what decision you have to make. First step is you have to understand what decision you have to make because it's something just step by step process. Decision making. So if we go step by step, it helps us to get some deliberate and thoughtful information. And also, after gathering that information, then we are able to implement it, understand its consequences, look for what are the available options. So I would say that making is a process which has to go step by step and in which we identify and we gather information and then we
Mhm.
look towards um, what more we can do, what are the consequences, whatever decision you took, and also look for the alternatives because in the path of decision making maybe it happens sometime in lab also with us. We are trying to do something and we end up doing something else.
Mhm.
So
So, if we have to separate the decision making, like day to day decision making and decision making in research, uh, what is your opinion on that?
decision making, as I said earlier, anywhere, whether it is in lab or at any place, it has to be a step by step process. So in research is when we are studying, again, research. So we are searching again and we are studying and studying to understand a problem and how we can get results and uh, what all options do we have, right? So and you must have also seen that there are few people who are very quick decision makers.
Yes.
uh, you know and I've seen, especially the people who are at high posts. So if you put a problem, so they'll think about it without talking, in silence. They'll think about it, analyze it, everything in their mind, and connect it with past or maybe with their previous experiences, and then only they'll give their expertise views or whatever they think about it. So
Mhm.
this also depends upon how you have been brought up, um, what in what surroundings you were during your childhood, during your adult age, when you were growing up, and what was your uh, with what people you spend time. So this is the ability which comes, it grows with age, and actually not age, but it grows slowly, and it's not something which you can develop very quickly. There are people
Mhm.
who are called decision makers. Why? Because they are the one who are able to do analytics properly. They're able
Mhm.
to analyze the situation, judge the situation, and view the evidences, weigh them, weigh the evidences, and then put some review about it.
Okay. How would you differentiate like problem solving, problem finding, and decision making?
Problem solving and problem finding is, problem finding, first of all, that we have to know. These are the steps, basically, I would say. These are the steps which involve decision making. Okay, because first of all, you should know what is the problem. You know, if journal speaking also, if you go to court, so the judge would also understand first what is the problem.
Hmm.
You're trying to understand what is the problem. So that is one step, problem finding. Then comes,
Hmm.
because the person who is decision maker, he has to look for the evidences, look for the path, and look for what alternative options are there. And after that, he'll look for the problem solution. What can be the solution? But if we compare it with decision making has several steps involved. Sometimes it can also involve emotional status. What is your emotional status at that time?
Hmm.
Because problem will remain same, problem finding, it won't change. But how you solve it will depend upon the decision you took, right?
Hmm.
So I understand that the decision making is something which includes both these things, problem making and problem solving, but they are not complete terms. Decision making, on the other hand, is a complete term which may involve some several 6 to 7 steps at least. Identify the problem, gather the information, then look for the alternative options. Maybe during the journey of problem finding, when you, for example, I was first year PhD student at that time. The problem was, we knew that the problem was how to cure obesity and diabetes.
Hmm.
This was the only thing we knew. Now, after that, what we had to do was, we have to do literature survey to see that what exactly is obesity, what is diabetes, and what people are doing to solve it.
Hmm.
And we had took an approach. That approach was traditional methods, not going by the
Okay.
by just like in what do you say, that the discovering a drug. It was not like that, but going for an alternative methods. There are a lot of methods, traditional medicines.
Okay.
So our approach was that, going for Ayurveda, or going for some natural source.
Hmm.
So then what we did, we started gathering information. Number one, not only about the disease, but about the cause, and also about how we are going to conduct that.
Hmm.
How we are going to go forward. Let's say, for few very small decisions which we had to make. First, we had to make the decision was which mice model to start with. So at that time, if the decision making is not correct, so then you are, whatever efforts you put in that, 2 months, 3 months, whatever time you take to cover that path, and if at the end you realize that this was not correct. We were working on some C57 black 6 mice. This is the name of the strain of that mice. And
Okay.
maybe the survey was not proper, and we would have started with some other mice model which is not that appropriate. Then obviously the results will not be that good. So what I want to convey is that decision making is very important, not only in research, but in every skill what you acquire, or everything what you do in your life, in daily routine also.
Hmm.